Hey guys, welcome to one of my favorite things to do on eBay, and it's another episode of Real Watches, Real People, Real Stories. What I most like about these is that this is you, my fan base, sending me real live videos with real life stories attached to them and actually showing off your watches to me as well as the rest of the viewers. An idea I came up with a few months back is kind of taken off. As usual, if any of you guys want to submit any of those stories, watches as videos, you don't have to show yourself. You can just show your watches and tell me a story, or you can show yourself just the same. Email those submissions to ian@luxurybazaar.com. And what he does is he puts them together in the video line for me. I watch them and I answer them off the cuff, so to speak. He doesn't show me those videos, which is one of the reasons I ask you guys to submit it to Ian so you get a real natural reaction out of me, so to speak. So, without further ado, Andre's submission is first.
Hi Roman, thank you for giving me an opportunity to show off my watch collection on your show. I'm a big fan. I also want to start off by saying thank you for putting all the content that you do and the knowledge that you bring to the watch industry. It helps me a lot, especially during this time that we're on lockdown. It keeps me busy. The reason I say that is because up until Corona, I had my own small little business where I sold watches, sold jewelry, traded antique furniture, and more luxurious things. It was small, but it was something I made, and I was proud of it. And then Corona come, and it made things a little bit more difficult because a lot of people got scared, so they stopped investing in these more luxurious items. So unfortunately, I had to close. Regardless of what happened to my business, I still dabble here and there with some trades when I can. After I closed my business, I got some bad news from the hospital. They found that I had the cancerous bacteria in my stomach. My mom had the same problem, and they ended up removing her stomach due to cancer. But other than that, I'm not going to complain because there's a lot of people out there who are worse off than me, and I just like to thank God that I'm still alive and I'm still able to walk, see, talk, and do all of the things that normal people do. So I don't feel sorry. So I really appreciate you putting out the content because, like I said, it's kept my mind busy, it's kept me busy and distracted from all the crap that's gone on in my personal life, and I really enjoy it. Now let's dive into why we're all here. Is to see some watches. I just quickly want to say why I chose these two specific watches is to show you the diversity of watches in my collection, from really expensive to not so expensive. I could have simply brought a bunch of expensive watches on here and say, yeah, look at my fancy collection, but I'm a watch lover first and foremost. Oh, no pun intended. And I absolutely love all kind of watches regardless of the price. So that's why I chose these two. And this one I chose specifically because it's the most recent purchase I made, and I know it's your favorite brand, the AP 15400. Black dial. I love this watch. I really, really do like it, and now I'm starting to understand why this is one of your favorite brands, or your favorite brand. I wear it as much as I can. I consider this more for me personally, a dressy watch, something with a suit, something that I can go to business meetings with. It only comes out of the box when I actually have something important to do. So my second watch, this is a quite recent company who make these watches. When I first saw it, I absolutely love it. Like I said, I like thinner watches, and I really like this, the black with the rose gold with a matted black finish. This is from a company called Benjamin Tonneliers. I hope I said that correctly. I think that's how you say it. They are a Dutch company who just started making watches, and I absolutely love this watch. I do wear it on a daily basis. I take it to the supermarket, walk the dogs, even business meetings if I feel like putting this on. Fantastic watch, really love it.
Okay, Andre, first of all, thank you for your submission. Second of all, nice beard. Mine doesn't quite grow as thick and long as yours, but I'm trying. In regards to cancer, near and dear to my heart, hit close to home for me a couple of years back when my sister died at the age of 49, is still with me. What I love about how you approached it is with positive attitude, and I hope and pray to God that all works out for you. Positive attitude is a big part of it. Not letting this get you down, alongside with things like your business having to close down. I assume you had a physical location due to Corona. I love the fact that you still have a positive attitude about it, and I'm sure you're going to pull through because it's that positive attitude that's going to pull you through. In regards to your business shutting down, for now, things are back quote unquote to normal in the watch market. So I'm sure you can do more than dabble at this particular point. Plus, we do wholesale. So feel free to reach out to us should you have any requests or need some help within the business realm. I'll be more than happy to help. In regards to your watches, I love what you said about the AP. Yes, obviously I'm super biased. My favorite brand, particularly the Royal Oak. I wear the original Royal Oak 5402, which was the original predecessor to the 15400. I like the 15400 due to its size, the 41 millimeter. 15500 at 38, not a big fan. If I had to pick one that's a modern version, I'd probably go with the 15202, which is pretty much what the 5402, the original one, is, right? But nevertheless, I like them all, whether the 39, 38, and I like the plain Jane. Also love the fact that you wear this watch as a dressy watch, which proves my point that the line between dressy and sporty has virtually disappeared. Look, the Royal Oak was Audemars Piguet's way of bringing a luxury sports watch onto the market at a time where there was no luxury sports watch, right? Gerald Genta made that. He made the Nautilus a year later, and that's what they called it. They called it a luxury sports watch. But the Royal Oak was indeed the first luxury sports watch out there. It was selling for buku dollars at a time where a stainless steel sports watch from a Swiss manufacturer was a few $100s, and all of a sudden here they come with this expensive sports watch, and people were wondering why. But guess what? Fast forward now almost 50 years, and look at where the watch is now. The other watch you mentioned about, I've never seen that watch, but I'll tell you one thing. My first impression, it's very striking. So I can see how that can be a daily wear, but at the same time, you can take it to an important business meeting because it's an eye catcher. I'm not sure if that's a mesh bracelet or a strap that's made to look like a mesh bracelet. It's very eye catching. The overall color is the rose against the black. Not sure what that watch sells for or doesn't sell for, but it's irrelevant because as you said in your video, it doesn't matter how cheap or expensive a watch is. You're a watch lover and you don't base your love for watches on price or anything for that matter. You buy what you like, and that's what I've always preached. So definitely kudos on both watches. As I said, in regards to your health, I pray to God and wish you lots of luck, that all goes well. But the positive attitude that you made this video with, continue keeping that positive attitude when it comes to your health, when it comes to continuing in this wonderful business that we're in. And as I said, if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out.
During this time of the year, I always like to do something for somebody else other than myself or other than my family. Especially now due to the crisis that we go on, I always try and help and bless somebody or be a blessing to somebody. This year, due to Corona, a lot of people have lost their jobs. So I always like to bless somebody because God has blessed me so much with everything that I have that I like to be a blessing to somebody else. With that said, since this is a watch review and a watch channel, I decided to contact the company where I bought my inexpensive watch from, the Benjamin Tonneliers, and I explained to them, look, I would like to buy 2 watches to give them as a giveaway to somebody, to bless somebody who cannot afford to buy a watch. So I get an email back from, I think it's the owner of the company actually, who I spoke to, and he told me, look, hey, I think you're doing a wonderful thing, and we stand behind helping people, so we'll send you the watches for free. The only thing you have to do is pay the postage and send them wherever you like. So I was like, okay, that's fantastic, thank you very much. So a big shout out to Benjamin Tonneliers for sending me these watches, so I'm able to do this and give them away. I also want to mention the fact that I'm doing this out of my own free will. I have no attachment to this company whatsoever. They did not pay me to do this, and I'm a big believer in do unto others as done unto you. So I would not be pushing this watch if I didn't truly believe that in the watch or I liked it. So I just wanted to mention that because I know there's probably people out there going to go, oh, he's just doing a promotion. No, I'm not. These are the 2 watches I'll be giving away from Benjamin Tonneliers. The company have sent me these 2. They've sent me the platinum one, which I think is absolutely beautiful, and I will be buying one of these for myself. On the picture, it didn't look as nice, or I'm usually not into these shinier watches. But now that I have it in my hand, I absolutely love it, so I will be buying one for myself. And they sent me the same one that I have, which is over there, my personal watch. So I hope these 2 watches will be going to somebody who will enjoy them and love them as much as I do. So to finish off this watch collection video, I'd like to say thank you, Roman, for allowing me to do this. Say thank you for allowing me to be a blessing to somebody and give these watches away from Benjamin Tonneliers. big shout out to the company because they did give me this for free. Thank you for making the content that you do. You know, like I mentioned before, for me, watching your videos is a stress relief. It's a getaway from my crazy world during the day, and I love watching it. As long as you keep making it, I'll keep watching it, I'll keep liking it. And for all the Roman haters out there, yeah, screw you. Watch something else. Thank you, Roman. God bless you. Stay safe, and I hope we can all get back to normal very, very soon and get back to buying some watches.
Wow. Andre, again, very noble thing. I do deeply, deeply believe on giving back. I never advertise any of the charity work that I do. There is a big announcement coming in regards to a nonprofit organization that was created a couple of months back, on which I am on the board of directors. I won't spoil the surprise. That will be a separate video. But I do give back as much as I can, and giving back is a big part of my life. Whether it's given to religious organizations, cancer organizations, organizations that help kids, etc., I'm always the first one to volunteer. My son actually just did a giveaway for some sneakers. All the money was donated, and I double matched that donation, so we were able to raise a little bit of money there. A lot of little things like that, and I think it all counts. I think God sees all, and giving back is a good thing. Now, here are the contest rules for the giveaway for these two watches. First of all, shout out to this company, Ian. Go ahead. I've never heard of them. I've never even seen them, nor am I affiliated with them. But let's find their website, Ian. Let's link them below and give them a shout, because you know what? Anybody can email any organization out there, say, hey, I want to give away these watches. He didn't. He simply said, hey, I want to buy these two watches. I'm giving them away. But long story short, I think it was very, very noble of them. They certainly deserve a shout out. Now, Andre says the first two people to email alwaysblessed.365@gmail.com will win the watches, which is pretty simple. He's not asking you to like anything or to follow anybody and blah, 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 which I think is really, really cool. So once this video airs, what's going to happen is that the first two people that watch this and email him, he'll send you those watches. Andre, noble thing. Thanks for the submission. I appreciate it. This is certainly a lot different from any other submissions that I had. Hang in there. Take care of your health. Happy holidays. And I look forward to a follow-up video in regards to this giveaway. Next one is from David.
Hi Roman and Ian, this is David from Sydney, Australia. Thanks for doing this channel, which helps us learn about watches and also to share our own stories. This is the watch which inspired me to learn more about watches and got me onto your channel and lots of others. It's my father's 1950s Omega Seamaster. My father passed away about 3 years ago, and I found this while cleaning up the house. I didn't even know that he had had an Omega. I thought it was just his old beater watch. It hadn't been working for at least 30 years. I wasn't even sure that it was worthwhile restoring it, especially if it wasn't genuine. So I started Googling how to tell a fake from a real Omega, and I'm pretty sure the dial's been redone. But I found a cheap servicer in the Philippines, and they assured me it could be done and showed me some pictures of the inside while they were opening it up. So slowly I started to piece together parts of my dad's life, which I'd never known, because we'd lived a pretty simple life in Australia. This is the watch that my parents gave me for my wedding in 1992. It's the Seiko Age of Discovery, which is funny enough gold-plated and a 34mm, just like my dad's watch. My parents were married in Hong Kong in 1957, so I'm thinking maybe his watch was a wedding present from his parents. Anyway, I decided to make his watch my own and give it a modern take. This is a leather strap which Amex gave away. It has an Amex chip inside. It is a double wrap and probably meant for women. It's not meant to be a watch strap, so I had to put an extra hole at the end. And the watchmaker bent these pins so that the strap would fit. Anyway, to cut a long story short, my wife's been living in the Philippines for the last couple of years, and I'm going to join her as soon as I'm allowed to travel. Watches like Omega and Rolexes are very popular there, so I feel like I'm gone full circle. But in the meantime, I've had to learn how to be a bachelor again. This watch has been a lot of fun for me. Whether it's been paying for upmarket burgers or buying a round of shots for my last day at work. I would love to buy my son a similar sort of watch if and when he gets married, but they're not making many 34mm men's watches anymore, so any suggestions would be appreciated.
Wow, what a great story. Well, first of all, most people will associate the Omega Seamaster with James Bond, but it goes back a bit further. It goes back to 1948 when Omega Seamaster was made for Omega's 100th year anniversary, and it quickly became a hit. Again, this video is not about history of the Omega Seamaster for that matter, but you have a really early one, right? You have one of the earlier models that were super popular when they first came out back in the late 40s and early 50s. Again, this is post-war times. Times were difficult for most watch companies, but as you can tell, Omega made it, and Omega Seamaster made it because they make it till this day. The fact that you figured that that watch was probably given to your parents as a wedding gift certainly fits within the timeline, right? And the fact that you got a watch that's more or less the same size for your wedding is pretty damn unbelievable. And those two mementos that you have are priceless. They're indeed priceless. I'm not going to talk about value. This isn't about the value of these watches. This is about how priceless they are as far as family heirlooms and mementos. And I got to be honest with you, I don't necessarily know if you want to get out there and find a 34mm watch. Matching them by size, I don't think is a must. I would probably go with something that's a little bit more modern, not necessarily worry about finding a 34mm watch. There are men's watches out there that are still 34mm, but I don't know if I would stick to the size. What I think would be cool instead is Omega has what's called a Heritage Series, right, where they remake some of these models. And they actually have a Seamaster 1948 limited editions, which is sort of a remake of the original from 1948 that looks exactly like your watch. It's 4mm bigger. I believe these are 38mm. They have the commemorative engraving on the back of the watch. I'm sure Ian can pull up some pictures from Omega's website. You can see it on there. They made 1,948 of them, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. Rightfully so. So I think that would be a good idea. Maybe find a similar Seiko, or maybe depending on a budget, buy both. Eventually, I'm assuming the other two watches will end up with your son. And imagine the story he'll be able to tell his children, right? Grandfather, father, and now me. And this is how far back this goes. I will mention that that was a very creative strap that you made for that Omega. I think for such a small size watch, it made this watch wear bigger, having the double strap. I would have never actually thought of that, so that was very creative. Again, goes with the whole vintage look. Probably a pain in the ass to take on and off, but nevertheless looks cool on your wrist. A hell of a story, hell of a submission. I appreciate that very, very much, and I hope my suggestion sort of leads you the right way, but certainly look in that realm. Don't be a big stickler for size. That's all I'm saying. Thanks again for your submission. Next one is from Nathaniel.
Hey Roman, this is Nathaniel, and here's a submission for real people, real watches, real stories. Real people, my name is Nathaniel. I've written to you before, and you've answered one of my questions, and I really appreciated it. I'm a private tutor. I teach the entire U.S. high school curriculum to only one student at a time, full-time, anywhere in the world. Sometimes I even have a university student. It's hard work, especially at university. Typically, I'm not allowed to attend class with my students, so I've got to read over the syllabuses and figure out what the professor's trying to teach, and then communicate it to my students who have learning problems, so that they can understand in a way that they're able to learn what the professor is trying to communicate to them. So, real watches. This is a real watch, and I received this yesterday as a gift in commemoration of 5 years with a young lady. And I started with her when she was in high school and continued with her throughout university, and last spring she graduated from Notre Dame, which was absolutely amazing, especially given, you know, the background she was coming from. So here we go. This watch, and this is the real watch that she gave me yesterday. Brand new Rolex Yacht-Master 2 in 18 karat yellow gold. I was just absolutely blown away by this. I was not expecting it. It was not something that we had planned, but they invited me for a visit. I flew in and we were sitting around and talking, And then all of a sudden, they were bringing out a present. And I just could not be more pleased by this piece. It's so gorgeous. And not only that, but she had the back engraved with our initials and a little four-leaf clover to symbolize Notre Dame.
Wow. First of all, I've spoke of this before. And yes, I do remember your submission. I do remember being in awe of your job, being sort of a remote teacher, a homeschool teacher, or whatever you want to dub it, right? And teaching one student at a time. That's got to be so fulfilling and so up close and personal versus, let's say, teachers that are been doing this for a while and teach a room full of kids, and it's just so close and personal. And obviously, I can tell how close and personal and important you are and were in this young lady's life to give you the type of gift that you received, because that's a very expensive gift. And the engraving is also awesome because it certainly signifies a huge milestone in her life, and this is certainly something you will never forget. I think staring in the back of that, watching that engraving, is just as special as you staring at the beautiful big gold watch that you received. In regards to being a teacher, I think, personally, I've always said this before, I think that being a teacher is probably one of the most important jobs in the world.
I'm a teacher. All I need are minds for molding.
Teachers are the first idols after, I guess, parents. After parents, teachers are those first idols that kids look up to. And a teacher has the ability to shape a young mind, to shape an individual's future, to affect them in ways that even parents sometimes can't affect to. And I have never met a teacher who didn't love what they do. And I've never met a teacher who wasn't proud of what they do. I heard that in your voices, so I can see the pride in your eyes. I think, yes, receiving a big gold Yacht-Master, which is expensive as all hell, is obviously a pleasure, but I think you get more pleasure out of having put that child through Notre Dame and had her graduate, right? And that's the bottom line behind teachers, and that's why I respect teachers so much. Again, I'm assuming your salary is probably a bit more than quote-unquote regular teachers that go to school day in and day out. I do know that teacher salaries in the United States are quite low, and I think there's some of the most underpaid professionals out there, along with police and firemen. That's always been my opinion, due to the fact of how important of a job that they hold and how much pride every single teacher out there has for the job that they do. Personally, having had 3 children and, sort of having to play the teacher role throughout the years in a lot of aspects of their life, I've caught myself numerous times saying, you know what, a teaching job is probably something I would enjoy, and it's probably even not out of the question. Let's say if I sell the company a few years from now, that's actually something I would consider doing, because that's something I enjoy as well. I enjoy with my children. I enjoy giving advice to other children, be they little children or big children. A lot of my kids' friends come to me for advice, and my wife as well. It's something I would probably most certainly enjoy. Nevertheless, this is a hell of a story. It's a hell of a gift. Big shout out to you for the submission, and shout out to your student just the same. In regards to the watch itself, it's a watch that finally has caught up to the price it's supposed to be. I'll tell you a quick story on that watch. My buddy Joe, you've seen him in some of my videos, probably 8-9 years ago, calls me from Aruba while he was on vacation. I wasn't there that year. He goes, "Hey Roman," he's like, "I'm being offered this Rolex at an AD. This was at a discount still. I'm being offered this watch for $24,000. Is it a good deal?" I made a couple of calls. The cheapest I could buy the watch for was $24,500. I said, "Listen, buy it. It's $500 less for what I can buy it for." So it's really, really a good deal. As he had the watch over the years, he's not planning on selling it from time to time. He would check, "Hey, what's the story on my watch?" It kind of went up to like $28,000, $27,000. It kind of got older, went back down to $24,000. And now pre-owned, these things are trading at over $30,000. So it just goes to show, I do say watches are not an investment, which they're not, because it's been 10 years since he's had that watch. But a watch you pay $24,000 for 10 years ago, can now sell for $30,000, which is what, about a 22-23% gain, and proves my point. If we were taking that same money and let's say even put it in a stock market or a mutual fund, he would be better off. So yes, watches are not investments, but it's nice to buy things wisely. They go up in value rather than down. On to the next one, and the next one is from Lassie. I hope I'm pronouncing this one correct. Lasse. Let's see.
Hi Roman, greetings from Lassie in Munich, Germany. Love the channel. And I just thought I had to share what got me into watches and watching your YouTube channel. And this is the Iwc Mark 12, which is hopefully the first too many watches I will buy and collect in the future. This was handed to me by my dad. He bought it right after I was born, and I got it when I was 14 for my confirmation, and it's been with me ever since. There's also a nice photograph I got with it back then of my dad purchasing my watch. This is me right here, which was in 95, I believe. I was 1 back at the time. And my dad also has the chronograph from the same time period, which is the 3706, I believe. So it's kind of a family thing. I really do like how subtle the watch is. I can wear it to almost any occasion. I can wear it with a suit, or I can just wear it with jeans and a t-shirt. And right now I have the bracelet on it, as you can see, but I also sometimes switch to the strap, which I also really do like with the watch. In the near future, I would like a bit more of a complicated movement. I'm currently looking at the new perpetual calendars from IWC. For those, I just have to save up a little bit more. There's a new stainless steel one, which is the 344203, which I really enjoy. And I'll have to check that out since it's 42 millimeters, how it sits on the wrist. But due to COVID, I haven't had the chance yet. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long for you. Also, it took me probably 15 tries to get it right without misspeaking, since English isn't my first language. Take care, love your videos, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Okay, so the IWC Mark series. You took me back to the time I started in this business, and the time I started in this business in the early 2000s, it was the Mark 15. This goes back quite a while. First of all, it was the first watch from IWC specifically designed for aviators or pilots. And I'm probably going to mangle and murder German right now, so forgive me. I believe it was called Spezialisur für Flieger. Did I do it okay there, I hope? Which literally translates to special pilot's watch, right? And this is going back all the way to 1936, right? So your Mark series goes back to 1936. I'm not sure if you ever researched that history or not. I've always liked the Mark series watches, and the reason I like the Mark series watches is because they were so plain, so military looking. I was kind of in love with that watch when I first laid my hands on it. So I have worn the Mark 15 for a while, and it's a small watch up to today's standards. I don't have that at the moment, but every time I get a chance to line one, whether it's new, old, I usually tend to be biased, and I buy them up regardless, and of course then they sell, and I kind of miss them. But to me, lots of history there, but most importantly, what I love about that is not only do you have great history there, you have photographic proof from 1995 where your father bought you that watch when you were a baby, and along with it, he bought himself a watch, which I'm assuming eventually will get passed down to you and then your children and so on and so forth. But the history there is absolutely amazing. I do like that watch on the strap versus the bracelet. That's how I always like them. You have to also consider this was a hell of a tool watch back in the mid-30s, because the rotating bezel helped the user measure time accurately over an hour. The luminous hands, the watch was very, very visible. So this wasn't just a gimmick back then. Nowadays, the pilot watches that are made and things of that nature, they're unnecessary, right? Because pilots have plenty of instruments that they can go by in their cockpit. Now it's more of a gimmick. But back then, these were real tool watches, and that's what your watch is based on. And they're still keeping the tradition alive right now. IWC, the latest is Mark 18, I believe. And IWC has continued their watchmaking for pilots vigorously throughout the years, and they're going to continue doing so. I mean, when somebody mentions the words big pilot, anybody who's a watch guy will automatically know that's an IWC. And that says something, right? Just like if somebody says Submariner, people think Rolex. Big pilot, people think IWC as well. And I'll tell you one more thing, the fact that you're looking at a perpetual, I think it's a good move. Obviously you like the brand IWC, and IWC is actually very underpriced when it comes to their perpetuals in terms of their retail prices and where they sell on the secondary market. So definitely a good choice. Thank you so much for the submission, and auf Wiedersehen. One more here from Gilbert.
Hi Roman, this is Gilbert from South Florida. I just want to show you my custom-made Patek Philippe. It's a beautiful piece. I went to Patek Philippe myself and gave him the spec of what I wanted, and I got a beautiful piece in my hand. Thank you and bye.
That is a beautiful. That is one way to make a custom Patek Philippe. Well, first of all, thank you for the funny submission, but I will have one comment on that. The next time they're going to customize a Patek for you, perhaps they can work on the spacing between the numbers and try to make it a perfect circle. And I probably would have used gold ink rather than black ink. Other than that, this is a very, very creative submissions. I'm going to assume this is a one of a kind. So for those that might potentially be interested in this Patek Philippe, they probably couldn't buy that. But I certainly appreciate the laugh because look, at the end of the day, this is real watches, real people, real stories. Not sure about the real watches part on this particular submission, but I thank you anyway. Guys, thanks a lot for all of your submissions. I absolutely love this. I love the stories behind it more than anything else. Love for you to show off your watches to me and the rest of the Roman Sharf YouTube channel family. Please keep those submissions coming. This is the only thing that makes these episodes possible. As I said, email them to ian@luxurybazaar.com. And once we get enough of them together, we will air the next episode. Other than that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share, notification bell, all those wonderful things that you do to help my channel grow. And I'll see you guys next week for more watch reviews and other videos.